was shocking to see it happen in that way, to see someone that was trying to help get caught up in that.
Now at 7, people here in Portland reacting to shootings by ICE agents in Minneapolis that killed a woman who the Department of Homeland Security says was trying to run over ICE agents.
ICE officer fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public fired defensive shots.
The latest on that situation, plus what officials in Minneapolis had to say. Also this morning, we are looking into Flow, a period tracking app that is accused of sharing personal data with tech companies. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us with the latest lawsuit and how it could impact you. Plus, a warning for skiers and snowboarders after a man from Bend died when he was buried in the Avalanche, Nevada. What officials say you should be on the lookout for as we track a winter storm through the Cascades, set to bring in several more inches of snow. Sunrise streaming live at 7 starts right now. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm China Green. We are in a KGW weather impact alert with snow continuing to pile up in the Cascades. We're also seeing some crashes this morning with ice on the roads and school delays in part of our area. Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis are standing by for a look at your weather and traffic.
Yeah, here's what's going on. You know, on the one side of the coin, the weather pattern's easing and calming, but that's actually allowed partly cloudy skies to open up overnight. Not much wind, and in between the scattered showers, temperatures have been able to drop off. And we've seen quite a few freezing spots, especially out in parts of Washington and Yamhill counties this morning that could be producing some patchy ice zones. You can see a break in the cloud cover right there from the Vancouver to the Springs to the waterfront camera. And there's a chilly temp, above freezing, but chilly at 37 degrees. And look at the freezing numbers. Scappoose, Forest Grove, Hillsboro, Happy Valley's just above at 33. One of the spots that actually had snow showers in the air yesterday afternoon. There's freezing in Silverton and also freezing down in Corvallis. So just FYI, there might be a surprise little slick spot awaiting you, especially out in some of the rural areas. 37 right now at PDX. Moving forward, not a bad day. Partly cloudy skies, scattered showers, temperatures in the mid-40s. Here's Chris.
Yeah, Rod, as you mentioned with those icy patches out there, we do have a handful of school delays. They're ticking away across the bottom of your screen, but specifically in Washington, Yamhill, and also Marion County. So be on the lookout for that. Photojournalist Chad Dehart has been live on 99W in the Newburgh area, seeing numerous cars taking it very, very slow. Not necessarily right at this moment, but through that stretch of 99W. Now, here's the deal. We've had at least a half a dozen crashes reported on 99W, 219 or Highway 18 between Newburgh and Lafayette. Now, at last check, it looks like the last one has just cleared, so traffic is moving again, but to the point of watching out for icy roadways, that's exactly what you need to do. South of Hillsboro, Highway 219, that's First Avenue. Southbound lanes right now still closed at Southwest Wood Street because of a crash there as well. China, will keep you posted.
And thank you, Chris. First on Sunrise, hundreds of people in Minneapolis poured into the streets after a 37-year-old woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent. This shooting happened yesterday in a residential neighborhood south of downtown Minneapolis, about a mile from where George Floyd was killed in 2020. The Trump administration describes the killing as an act of self-defense. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem says that the woman was blocking an ICE vehicle that got stuck in the snow as officers tried to push it out. The mayor of Minneapolis called the description, quote, garbage, saying that he had watched videos of the shooting that show it was avoidable.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
The ICE officer fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public fired defensive shots.
The victim was identified as 37-year-old Renee Good. She's a U.S. citizen and mother of 3 children. Before living in the Twin Cities, she had lived most of her life in Colorado. Though that shooting happened across the country in Minneapolis, vigils and protests were held here in Portland. Alma McCarty spoke with some people who say that they felt saddened but not surprised by the news.
Someone lost their life today.
Expressions of outrage.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
And moments of silent reflection on the streets of Portland.
And it was just terrifying that we kind of been waiting for this to happen, and the fact that it did was just terrifying to see.
Vigils downtown and in front of the ICE facility in memory of Renee Nicole Good. The The 37-year-old mother shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minneapolis.
It was shocking to see it happen in that way, to see someone that was trying to help get caught up in that. And I can only imagine the terror. I've seen their violence in person, and so I understand why she didn't get out of her car and why she was afraid and trying to get out of there.
The federal government characterizing the interaction differently, with DHS saying the woman was attempting to hit agents with her vehicle.
I think that's absolutely disgusting. Renee Good was a mother. It sounded like she was artistic. She had a community. She was out there just following ICE and making sure that immigrants are protected. So Kristi Noem is clearly trying to, spin the story, make it seem as though it was justified. But anyone who watched that video can see that clearly was not justified.
As Minnesota leaders called for the removal of ICE from their community, Portlanders echoed those demands here, saying ICE and other federal agents have acted recklessly.
Just breaking the rules more and more, just trying to push the boundaries.
It's why some neighbors have been monitoring ICE activity. Outside the ICE building, Pastor Heather Hellman from Multnomah Presbyterian Church told us she spends her mornings here with legal observers, helping people understand their rights and paying close attention to the actions of agents.
These are people that are trying to be peacemakers. These are people that are trying to follow the commandments of Jesus, right, that I follow, that say, love your neighbor, help the immigrants.
That was Alma McCarty reporting. Representative Andrea Salinas from Oregon's 6th Congressional District called the shooting a preventable tragedy, writing in part, quote, "This is not the first such shootings, and without accountability, it will not be the last." Now to other headlines here locally. We now know the name of a burglary suspect arrested after a nearly 6-hour standoff in Southwest Portland on Tuesday. Jonathan Cook was safely taken into custody around 11 Tuesday night. Authorities say this all began when a man says he found a stranger in his apartment. After the man escaped, police say Cook barricaded himself in a bedroom. It took hours of negotiations, but Cook eventually came out and is now charged with burglary. He's set to be arraigned at 2 o'clock this afternoon. A St. Helens woman who had just launched her dream business is now being forced to start over after a thief stole a trailer right out of her driveway. Carissa Albertson is the owner of Mini Munchkins, a mobile children's boutique. She says this business had been a dream, giving her the flexibility to sell at pop-up events while caring for her 2 young kids. She had only done 2 events when the trailer that housed her entire business was stolen the day before Thanksgiving. She says she lost nearly $13,000.
I had clothes, toys, books, cups, blankets. I had basically a little bit of everything. We just put so much work into that trailer that I was trying not to lose hope that everything was just completely gone and that something would eventually turn up.
Albertson is now raising money through a GoFundMe to restock her inventory and buy new machines so she can start making clothes again. Anyone with information should contact St. Helens Police. All right, time now is 7:08. We're taking a live look from Timberline Skycam. I think it's the first time I've seen snow actually sticking on the trees out there, Rod. Usually you see some snow at the bottom, and then you see the trees, but there's some snow on the trees.
Yeah, to your point, it just hasn't been that cold this winter up there. We're actually in the teens up at Timberline right now. A reminder, the Weather Service still has the winter storm warning up until 4 p.m. this afternoon. There's also a winter storm warning up for snow out in the Blue Mountains. Another 3 to 6 inches of snow total could fall. Now, we've already seen a couple this morning. So, but if we get just 3 or 4 more inches, that'll push Timberline's total up to a solid 3 feet for this storm event that started back Tuesday afternoon. The passes, the ODOT crews really, hands to them. They really do a great job. They have for years of plowing and keeping these roadways open. So that's a fresh plow with the snow cover packed on Highway 26. The ODOT camera up there at Government Camp, 25 degrees. All the passes look similar. And this is the first time I believe we've seen this picture. This is going up into the Coast Range at 1,400 feet, 32 degrees. Slushy conditions on the highway and at least several inches of snow roadside. That started to show up yesterday behind that second front that came in. Right now, look at the timberlines. Mostly really light snow currently falling. We've got showers along the coast. We've seen a few showers in the valley, but actually it's been pretty dry the last couple of hours. Some breaks in the cloud cover from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. 44 is the temperature there. And temperatures are a concern with the calming weather overall. We've had spots fall off to freezing. There's Hillsborough at 32. McMinnville's 35. It's 32 down in Corvallis and 32 in Silverton. And we do have reports of icy patches on roadways because of those temperatures that have dropped down. Overall, moving forward, pretty quiet day at the coast and valley. Just sunbreak, scattered showers. Typical stuff. Will be in the 40s, 30s out east. Again, the storm warning continues up in the high country. We go totally dry tomorrow. Friday, 48. Totally dry on Saturday, 51. We have added a light rain chance on Sunday. That's your forecast. Here is Chris.
Okay, Rod, thanks again for that. A reminder that we've got about a half a dozen school delays because of presumably icy conditions, primarily in Washington and Marion and Yamhill counties. So check along at the ticker there that's going across the bottom of your screen. We have had about a half a dozen crashes between Highway 219 north of St. Paul and 99W down towards 18 in Lafayette and the McMinnville area. Again, two of the districts, McMinnville, of course, and Newburgh that are running on delays because of slick conditions out there. South of Hillsborough, 219 southbound, that's First Avenue, is closed at Wood Street because of an earlier crash. Drive times, luckily, are not in too bad a shape. The inbound Sunset right now, we had a crash near the tunnel a few minutes ago. That's out of the way. But right now, it's taking folks about 20 minutes to get in from Hillsborough to I-405. China?
Thank you, Chris. Still to come on Sunrise, a lawsuit into a period tracking app that has been accused of sharing personal data with tech companies. Corey Johnson joins us live with how this could impact you. Plus, a man from Bend is dead after being buried in an avalanche. What officials are saying you should know before you hit the slopes. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
A consumer privacy lawsuit involving the popular Flow period tracking app is getting closer to paying users. Last month, a judge cleared the way for a multi-million-dollar settlement with Flow and Google after claims that the app shared reproductive health data with big tech platforms. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us live with the lawsuit details and what users need to know. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, China. That's right. Studies show about 1 in 4 U.S. women use the Flow app. So when you apply that here to Oregon, that means hundreds of thousands of women could potentially be using the app in the state. And Flow and Google have agreed to a proposed settlement to pay about $56 million after allegations of improper data sharing. Now, the lawsuit claims that highly personal information was shared with outside tech companies for advertising and analytics without clear informed consent. Legal experts say it's a case that could shape how all consumer health apps handle sensitive information moving forward. Now, EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, tells me many users mistakenly believe that just because an app is health related, it's HIPAA protected.
Only apply to narrowly defined healthcare providers and their business associates. The law doesn't protect data just because it's related to your health. So information collected by consumer health tracking apps like Flow are not generally subject to the same security and privacy standards.
Now keep in mind, right now a judge must still grant final approval before money can be given to those who are impacted by that lawsuit. Coming up at 8, we break down more of the Flow lawsuit, but also some simple steps you can take if you are navigating health-related apps. Back to you.
Our Corey Johnson reporting live this morning. Thank you, Corey. Your time now is 7:15. While all this fresh snow is exciting, officials are warning people when it comes to venturing out in the backcountry. And Monday, an avalanche swept through a part of the Sierra Nevada mountains, killing 42-year-old Chris Thomason. Authorities say Thomason, who is from Bend, was snowmobiling with friends when the avalanche was triggered, and he was buried.
When you're out in the backcountry, there's no groomed trails, generally speaking, especially when you're working along the mountainsides on that side of it. There's no preparations or preventions for avalanches out there.
Officials say that the avalanche was human triggered and that they are emphasizing how quickly backcountry conditions can become dangerous, stressing for skiers, snowboarders, and others to stick with the groomed trails. Check out this time lapse from our Timberline Skycam yesterday. Skiers and boarders stoked about all that fresh powder we saw yesterday. And we could see more of that today with a KGW weather impact alert in effect for the Cascades until 4 o'clock. Up to 6 inches of snow expected to fall today. So that means there is good news up at Timberline. The resort announced that crews are working to get the rest of the ski area open for the season. Jeff Flood and Summit Pass will open today. Storm and Norman is expected to open up for skiers and boarders tomorrow. And according to their website, Heidi's at Summit Pass is still closed while they wait for some more snow.
We'll see more snow today.
We will.
We had this news person, weather person battle yesterday. The news people say could. The weather person says will.
Because if something happens, you're on the line.
Well, that's fair. Here's a look at how much snow has come down since this storm started on Tuesday. So these are not 24-hour totals. They are storm event totals. Timberline 32, I just updated this. I just added 2 more to Meadows, 28. I just added 2 more to the front face of Ski Bowl, 18 inches. And the base is down. You put that on top of what was on the ground before the storm hit. If you're up at 5,000 feet on Mount Hood, pretty much a uniform 40 inches or more is now on the ground. Snow level is low to start. 1,200 feet today, going to bounce up to about 3,000 feet. We still have the winter storm warning from the Weather Service in play for the Cascades until 4 o'clock. So there will be continued snow showers up there. Snow rates are going to fall off. At most, I think we get up to 6 inches during the daytime today up at, say, Timberline. It might be less than that. All right, so storm track is changing. Instead of storms coming into us from the southwest, now we've got clouds starting to migrate up to the north and kind of hold off. This is high pressure ridge building in. And the day before the ridge takes hold, you often get these northwesterly flow pattern days that just produce sunbreaks and scattered showers. And that's what we're going to have today. So outside of the mountains, weather's pretty quiet today. In fact, the shower pattern is already weak enough that mostly the showers are hitting the Coast Range and then kind of fizzling and then redeveloping up over the Cascades. Snow rates have tapered down into mostly flurries in just the past hour over the mountains. Doesn't mean they're not going to pick back up at times today. Futurecast shows the scattered showers. The bluish tones are the snow up over the Cascades continuing at 3 o'clock. And then once we get into the overnight hours, all precip ends. We have a completely dry Friday and a completely dry Saturday expected. Okay, here's what's going on currently. Look at that. That's a big batch of blue awaiting us. Sun coming up at 7:50 this morning. This is looking south from the Wells Fargo building. And there's the temperature out of PDX, 37 with a calm wind. Now, this map shows 33 in Eugene, 35 Salem, 37 Kelso. But there are growing numbers of areas that have dropped down to 32, 33 degrees with reports of ice patches, or at least potential ice patches on roadways. Scattered showers. Skies broke, temperatures dropped, some freezing of that moisture that we had. So that's a hazard potentially awaiting you. 25 in Bend this morning, 23 out in Burns. 7-day forecast. Other than that, we warm up into the mid-40s. It's just a typical day. Not bad. Not much wind, partly cloudy, scattered sunbreaks, all dry tomorrow, Saturday. We've added a chance of light rain or showers on Sunday. Other than that, we are dry Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to follow. And here is Chris McGinnis.
And Rob, because of those scattered icy conditions outside of the metro area. We do have a handful of delays, 2-hour school delays. They're ticking away across the bottom of your screen, primarily focused in Yamhill, Marion, and Washington counties. So be on the lookout for that. We've had a few crashes on Highway 99W between Newburgh and Lafayette. We also had one on Highway 18. And latest report here is a crash on Highway 219 near Shampooey Road. So obviously with slick conditions there, we've got some issues on the roads in that part of our viewing area. Not sure if this is freezing related, but Highway 219 southbound still closed at Wood because of an earlier crash. Again, that's just south of Hillsborough. The drive-in from Hillsborough right around 20 minutes on Highway 26 to get you into the Vista Ridge Tunnel across the freeway system. Generally, we're not in too bad a shape early on our, well, not so early now, on our Thursday morning commute. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Here's a look at some of your consumer headlines this morning. Oregon's unemployment rate for November was 5.2%. To put this in perspective for you, the state gained jobs in leisure and hospitality and in healthcare, but lost jobs in government and information. So this is the same rate it was in September. Unemployment was 5% in August and was 4.3% a year ago. Numbers from October aren't available because the government was shut down. Meanwhile, the number of estimated job openings across the country slumped to 7.15 million at the end of November. That is the lowest level in more than a year. The data shows job openings trended lower across most industries except retail and construction. Hiring activity trended lower too, hitting its lowest levels since June of 2024. But the report did show fewer employees were laid off in November. And there was an uptick in workers quitting their jobs, which is an indicator of worker confidence. After 14 years in business, North Portland's Interurban is closing. In a post on Instagram, the self-proclaimed modern American saloon didn't explain why, but mentioned this closure isn't much different than others we've seen in the city. The neighborhood bar along North Mississippi will shut its doors in January. A new green program is launching again at PDX, and it's aimed at trying to stop thousands of pounds of trash going into landfills. Joey Neary has more.
There's one place that knows how to accumulate trash, and that's the airport.
When we did the pilot back in 2017, that one we did the same pre and post waste sort, and we were able to reduce our to-go packaging waste by 73%. So we're hoping for similar results.
Now, thanks to the Green Plate program that was just launched again, PDX is hoping to make it much more sustainable.
The first pilot lasted for 3 months. We had a lot of success during that, both from reducing our waste as well as saving our food carts some money on not having to purchase the disposables.
The program tried launching full-time in 2019, but the pandemic and the construction of the airport made them wait a bit. Just a couple of weeks ago, they launched it again, which focuses on reusing instead of throwing things away in the trash.
About 300 pounds for this food court. If we do prevent 30% of that waste, that's about 90 pounds a day. So over a year, that's almost 33,000 pounds of waste going to the landfill.
There are 3 restaurants that are taking part: Moe's Seafood and Chowder, Bambuza Vietnam Kitchen, and Mod Pizza.
It's extremely unique for the airports industry. A lot of airports focus on to-go for the busy traveler, but Port of Portland really also cares about the experience you have at the airport.
Travelers can get reusable plates, cups, and utensils before or after they board their flight.
Here now we have bowls, plates, spoons, etc., and all of those can be re-washed and used for the next customer.
A program that's expected to reuse hundreds of thousands of dishes a year instead of filling landfills with thousands of pounds of trash. Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
You know, there's 250,000 Oregonians that signed up to say we want to be able to vote on this. And so we kind of had an idea that shenanigans were going to happen.
Oregon Governor Tina Kotek suddenly changing her tune and calling for lawmakers to repeal a major transportation package which would prevent voters from voting on it. Why one Republican lawmaker says she's not surprised. Plus, from smart locks that can scan your face to robots who wash your dishes, we're taking a look at the hottest new tech that you can get your hands on this year. Don't go anywhere. Sunrise continues after this.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We're coming up on 7:29 on your Thursday morning drive. Hey, a reminder, and these are ticking away across the bottom of your screen. We do have a handful of late openings because of presumably icy conditions out on some roadways, specifically in Yamhill, Marion, and Washington counties. We have had a few crashes along 99W between Lafayette and Newburgh. There's also a crash right now on 219 near Shampooey Road. So there is some local slowing. Actually, 99W was briefly closed because of that crash. It has reopened. South of Hillsborough, 219 First Avenue, southbound is closed at Wood Street because of an ongoing crash there. Drive times, Rod, thankfully they're in pretty good shape on the freeways.
Certainly that ongoing hazard, as you mentioned, Chris, of potential icy patches. You get that sometimes when the weather pattern starts to calm, which is what's going on this morning. Scattered showers coast, light snow up in the Cascades right now, but the valley's pretty dry and skies have become partly cloudy, and that has allowed some icy spots. Timberline, just a reminder, the winter storm warning continues up into the Cascades today. There is a nice big blue spot awaiting us over downtown Portland. At the bus stop, turns into a pretty good day. Sunbreak, scattered showers will be in the mid-40s.
Good morning. We're taking a live look at our Timberline Lodge Skycam where you can see the snow piling up there, which is good news for for skiers and snowboarders. You know, we are a week into January. Feels like we should have been talking about this months ago.
Yes.
Again, weather impact alert for that, but also recently we have had school delays, bus routes changing because of icy conditions closer to home here in Portland.
Yeah, and you get that sometimes when the weather pattern starts to ease and you have wet roads, and part of the easing is the skies open up and it's opening up the cloud breaks. That allows temperatures to fall off, and that's what we're dealing with this morning. So watch out. Maybe you're driving and all of a sudden the temperature dips to freezing and you catch one of those icy patches. Chris is going to show you where those delays are coming up here in just a moment. Here's the radar. Scattered showers hitting the coast and then kind of fizzling over the flat of the valley and then repopping over the Cascades. That in itself is a sign of a weakening weather flow. We do still have the winter storm warning up at this point until 4 p.m. up into the Cascades. We've had a couple inches of new snowfall already this morning, 18 cold up there at Timberline. There's a partly cloudy shot over downtown Portland, 37 at PDX, but again, there are freezing spots around. Moving forward, pretty good day. Not much wind from the west. Partly cloudy skies, scattered showers mixed in, but not much total rain today. Temperatures in the mid-40s. Here is Chris.
Right, as we mentioned, a handful of school delays because of presumably icy conditions focused on Washington, Yamhill, and Marion counties. Those are ticking away at the bottom of your screen. Again, we've had a handful of crashes on 99W early this morning between Newburgh and Lafayette. It looks like most of those have cleared. There was a closure of 99W for about an hour that has reopened. But again, just be on the lookout, especially if your sky has been somewhat clear in the wee hours this morning. There could be some ice out there. Highway 219, First Avenue, just south of Hillsborough. Southbound lanes are still blocked because of a crash at Southwest Wood Street. Drive times are starting to creep up a little bit, but so far no major freeway trouble out there. We're happy to report that, of course. And as always, as you head up into the Cascades, there you go. That's Highway 26. Chains and traction tires required here. Chains or traction tires required for about a 25-mile stretch from Government Camp to Warm Springs. China?
Thank you, Chris. We start with new fallout in Minnesota and across the country after a woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent. The mayor of Minneapolis now calling for ICE to get out of his city, while the Trump administration is calling the shooting a justified response to an act of domestic terrorism. A warning here, we do have video of the incident and it may be difficult for some viewers to watch. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
The city of Minneapolis, once again the center of protest, outrage, and grief.
I'm beyond the thoughts and prayers. I'm enraged now.
After an ICE officer fatally shot a 37-year-old woman identified as Renee Good in the Minnesota Star Tribune. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem says the woman was blocking an ICE vehicle that got stuck in the snow as officers tried to push it out.
She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle.
Video from the scene shows an officer going to the driver's door, another stepping in front of the vehicle, and when the driver accelerates forward and to the right, shots fired.
The ICE officer, fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey pushing back.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is
and issuing this stark message.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
President Trump defending the officer's actions and vowing to protect law enforcement agents. And as Homeland Security labeled the incident an act of domestic terrorism, Governor Tim Walz urged protesters to stay peaceful.
Minnesotans, don't take the bait. Do not take the bait.
While the community reels.
In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
In a massive 180, Governor Tina Kotek is now asking lawmakers to repeal the state's stopgap transportation funding package, which she previously spearheaded herself. That's after some of it, including a gas tax hike, was paused when critics got enough signatures to put it to voters this November. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us live from downtown Portland with more on this. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, China. That's right. Some are calling it an about-face, as it's a package Governor Kotek fought to pass just 3 months ago during September's special session. Now, the transportation package was expected to raise about $4.3 billion over 10 years. It also featured a 6-cent increase to the state's 40 cents per gallon gas tax, plus hikes to title and registration fees. Now, Republicans panned the bill, then launched a referendum gathering enough signatures to put many of the fee increases to voters in November. But Kotek's call to repeal her transportation package yesterday would remove that opportunity. As of right now, revenue provisions from the funding package are frozen because of the referendum, but ODOT's projected $300 million budget gap still remains a key issue.
We have a near-term problem with the Oregon Department of Transportation that we have to solve, but we also need to be able to invest in infrastructure going forward. So for us, I don't care what's happened in the past. We are coming back together to figure this out.
It does feel like her ideas for being able to reprioritize funding sure looks a lot like Republicans' plan this last session, and I wish that we could have talked a little bit more about that a year ago.
Kotek says she plans to convene a bipartisan group of lawmakers and stakeholders to develop a transportation package for the 2027 legislative session. The short session is set to begin next month. Back to you.
Corey, thank you. Also in Salem, the community came out to both oppose and support a convicted murderer appointed to a police review board. Kyle Hedquist was granted clemency by former Governor Kate Brown after he was convicted of murder in 1994 when he was 18. Law enforcement says that he shot his victim in the back of the head to keep her from telling police about some burglaries that he had committed. At a special meeting last night, city councilors and the public were sharply divided on whether Hedquist should be allowed to serve on the Community Police Review Board. You'll hear some opposition, then from Hedquist himself.
Mr. Hedquist is a convicted murderer. While his life sentence was commuted, the life he stole was not. You cannot commute a victim back to existence. Yet some of this council saw fit to grant a man barred from volunteering at a school or even sitting in a police cruiser unless it's in the back the authority to oversee law enforcement.
The death of Nikki Thrasher is the gravity that pulls at everything I do. I ended her life, and I am forced to live with the agonizing math of that reality. I can never give enough, serve enough, or do enough to equal the life that I took. That debt is unpayable. But it is that same debt that drives me back into the community.
In the end, council voted to remove Hedquist from the review board and to adopt new criminal history background check guidelines for future appointments. Thank you.
So I am going to recess our meeting to tomorrow, when we will pick back up at the previously scheduled time. Thank you all.
That marked the end of a marathon 6+ hour Portland City Council meeting last night. The 12 councilors arguing over who should be the council's next president and vice president. It's something that the council will do now every year because of new form of city government that took effect January of last year. But last night ended with no decision.
Councillor Pertogany received 6 votes. Councillor Knoll received 6 votes.
Current council president Alana Pertogany is up against fellow District 2 councilor Samir Kanal. 7 votes are needed for a decision to be final. Hey, check this out. This morning we are getting a sneak peek inside Northwest Portland's brand new library ahead of Saturday's grand opening. The Northwest Library on Petty Grove includes 11,000 square feet of space, which is double the size of the old branch. That means it's filled with artwork, a wider selection of books, laptops that can be checked out, and lots of different areas to enjoy.
There's a lot of choices when you walk in this library. You can sit in a hard seat, you can sit in one with arms, you can kick back on the bean bags, or even get a really cozy armchair and a window view. You'll see lots of different ways that people can gather, so lots of different tables, meeting rooms. It can kind of be reorganized as well.
The new space is part of the library capital bond approved by voters. The Northwest Library is just one of 15 building projects all set to be completed this year. Your time now is 7:39. Headed over Rod Hill for a look at weather on this weather impact alert day.
And the impact alert, good morning. Thank you, China. The impact alert for the winter storm warning up in the Cascades, where the storm is easing, but they'll still rack up at least a few inches of snow, maybe a little bit more than that during the day today. Snow levels 1,200 this morning, up to about 3,000 feet a little bit later today. Outside of the mountains, the weather's really significantly starting to calm, and we're opening up some breaks in the cloud cover. There's a big patch of blue from the Wells Fargo camera, 37 degrees. There's some blue out in wine country from the Chehalem tasting room in Sherwood, also above freezing. But we do have 32-degree spots, and we have some school delays because of potential icy patches on roadways from showers that went by. And then temperatures dropped overnight as skies became partly cloudy. 32 Hillsborough, 31 Forest Grove, 31 Scappoose. Chris mentioned earlier, especially out in the rural areas, when you wake up and you step outside this morning, just look up. If you see some blue sky, that's absolutely heightening the chance that you could have a surprise icy patch find you on the roadways. 32 in Silverton, 34 in Corvallis. Sasha and Willow are KGW Pets of the Day. Really cute photo there. Pet of the Day at KGW.com's email address. Just send us your pet's photo, and your pet or pets will become our pet or pets of the day. All right. Overall, pretty quiet day today. Kind of a typical sunbreak, scattered shower day. Not a lot of showers, nothing out of control. Lots of dry time expected here in the valley. We'll be in the 40s. We've got 30s out east. Again, the storm warning up for the Cascades until 4 p.m. All dry tomorrow as we completely switch gears. We have added a light shower chance on Sunday. Minus that, it's dry tomorrow all the way into the mid part of next week. And that's your update. Here's Chris.
Okay, Rod, a reminder again, some of those school delays, the handful of them ticking away at the bottom of your screen, primarily focused in Washington and especially Yamhill and Marion counties, again, because of icy conditions out there. We have had a handful of crashes on 99W between Lafayette and Newburgh, also in 219 near Champoy Road. Crashes in the clearing stages. The roads are open, but just an indication of some slick spots out there for sure. Back on the freeways now, we do have one trouble spot. This is in Tualatin, I-5 northbound, just north of, or in the vicinity of Nyberg here near Bridgeport Village. It looks like the northbound left lane is blocked and traffic is quickly starting to back up. This is past the 205 interchange now, so you're going to hit that northbound slowing just past Wilsonville. The drive in from Wilsonville just shy of 30 minutes for around 30 minutes or so to get you in from Hillsborough as well.
Thank you, Chris. Remember when you were growing up in TV shows and cartoons, convinced us robots would be doing everything for us in the future? Well, the future is here. From automatic lawnmowers to robots doing your daily chores, we'll have a look at some new tech you can get your hands on when Sunrise continues after this.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Right now over in Vegas, some of the biggest tech products that will hit shelves this year is on display at the annual Consumer Electronics Show. From smart sprinkler systems to a robot that will fold your laundry. Jen Sullivan takes us in for a closer look in today's Consumer Watch.
It's the World's Fair of Technology and Gadgets, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
The whole idea is to see the latest technology that will be available to change and enhance our lives.
The more than 2.6 million square foot exhibit space is like a giant time machine into the not so distant future. Allison Freed with CES says this year artificial intelligence is taking tech to a new level.
AI is completely changing global economies, essentially.
The multi-day event brings together some of the smartest tech minds from more than 4,000 companies. Sorry, it's not open to the public. So let's take a look at some of the products promising to make life easier for us. Like Deslock's Smart Lock. No need to enter your home with a key. This solar-powered gadget reads your face.
If you're not at home and you have a parent, a friend, a kid who needs to get in, you can upload their picture, make sure that they are an approved user to come into your house.
This smart lock costs about $300. Check out this robotic lawnmower from Dream that can give you real-time feedback on your lawn. Sticker price about $3,000. Tired of watering your lawn with a hose? Check out Aper's smart irrigation system. It tailors care to every plant in your garden. It will cost you around $580. Love to grill? Several companies are rolling out smart grills that can perfect your meat. No more burnt burgers. And how about this? LG's Cloyd, the robot that will take over household tasks like cooking and laundry. Many of these products will be available to buy this year. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Wow, it's disappointing. It's been well documented, China, that around the house I don't do much. So none of those robots will help me. Now they'll help my wife a lot, but they won't.
You just
help me.
You just let the viewers know where you stand on things.
I take out the trash.
Great job.
Thank you. Maybe a robot will do that. Yeah. All right. Here's our Timberline live camera. Look at the snow. Look at the snow. Look at the snow. Looks like we will hit later today 3 feet of total snow for the storm event. Going back to when it started on Tuesday. If you recall, that was kind of the high end of the projection. So great news. It's cold up there this morning. 18 degrees. The National Weather Service has their wind and storm warning posted until 4 p.m. today. So we have the impact alert up, obviously. New snow today, 3 to 6 inches. West winds, breezy to gusty at times. Temperatures continue to hold below freezing. But the snow level is at 1,200 feet this morning. It goes up to 3,000 feet as we start to pull out of all this. The atmosphere slowly starts to warm. The Cascade passes are obviously big-time snow covered and slow going. ODOT's been out continually plowing the roads. But the snow is still falling. 25 degrees, that's Highway 26 at Government Camp. Santiam, a similar scene. 22, there was a plow, speaking of, and there's 22 at Willamette Pass, completely buried under snow. This is the first time we've seen this. We actually started to see it yesterday, but the first event we've seen it. That is snow at 1,400 feet, basically, on Highway 26, leaving Portland, going up toward the summit of the Coast Range. The highway itself doesn't look horrible, but that's certainly slushy and near freezing. The other Coast Range highways are lower, and they all look to be fine. The weather pattern is changing. We have a pretty quiet day here in the valley today. I've got my arrows. We're getting back into high pressure ridging. That means these clouds will start to go up to the north, and they'll hold away from us. We have added a rain chance on Sunday for some clouds spilling down over us, but we are starting to see the signs of a big-time dry out. Here's the radar right now. Showers coming in off the Pacific in that westerly flow. Pretty much currently light snow up in the Cascades. And so far the flow pattern's weak enough that the showers kind of pop over the Coast Range, then weaken over the flats of the valley, then reinvigorate up over the Cascades. So there will probably be easily more dry time if you're going to be outdoors much of today in Portland than there will be wet time as those showers quickly come and quickly go. Some pretty early morning sunrise colors from Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City, 42 degrees there, and opening up some partly cloudy skies across much of the valley, 37 now from the Wells Fargo building. And look at that. That's a lot of blue. That's out over the Dundee Hills, and that looks to me like there's some light frost in the vineyard. That's Domain Serene Winery's camera. And we've had Multiple temperature gauges show freezing temps out in Yamhill County and Washington counties this morning in particular. And that leads to the potential of some icy spots. 35 in Salem, 26 out in Baker City. Here's your 7-day. 46 today, some break, scattered showers. All dry tomorrow, all dry Saturday. We've added that rain chance on Sunday. And here is Chris McGinnis.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with a traffic alert in Tualatin. Let's get you there. I-5 northbound near the Nyberg area. So this is near Bridgeport Village. We've got the left lane blocked off with a crash here. A couple of cars involved, and you can see emergency responders there as well. So it's backing up traffic a few miles here on I-5 northbound. This is back at the 205 interchange and then a little farther south. It's just north of Elixir Road. Drivers are going to hit that slowing. So the trip in from Wilsonville is getting slow in a hurry, if you will. Right now, the drive from Wilsonville is up to 35 minutes and building. Also running a little thick this morning, the Sunset. We had an earlier crash near the tunnel. That's been moved to the shoulder, but traffic is still a little thick coming in from Sylvan. Total drive right now, 31 minutes from Hillsborough to downtown.
Thank you, Chris. Tomorrow is the day the Oregon Ducks take on the Indiana Hoosiers in the college football playoff semifinals. Coming up, we caught up with some of the players after they touched down in Atlanta. Sunrise continues after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
It's been fantastic. It's a better year than I expected.
I love watching all the extra things that they do, and my favorite part of the whole game is shout.
Ducks fans are on the ground and ready in Atlanta, and so is the team the day before they kick off in the Peach Bowl. KGW sports reporter Orlando Sanchez is in the middle of all the action. Check it out.
The Oregon Ducks have touched down in Atlanta ahead of Friday's Peach Bowl right here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. After talking to the team here, the anticipation is brewing for that rematch against Indiana and one of the team's biggest games in years.
So just the juice that we got, we're just very excited and very humble to just get the opportunity to be here.
First time in Atlanta, this is really happening. This is the semifinals right here. There's only 4 teams left.
It's a dream come true. I used to be that kid. I used to just watch as a kid. Just wow, this is what it feels like. I'm present. I'm really here. So I just really thank God.
A chance at payback. Undefeated Indiana handing Oregon its only loss of the season back in October.
It's just another blessing in disguise. We're able to play them again. Obviously, the first time, Indiana, it didn't go our way, but we have another chance right now.
The top-ranked Hoosiers and Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza know the stakes are higher the second time around, with a trip to the chip on the line.
Although the regular season was great and a great win for us in program history at that point in time, that game doesn't matter anymore. And so they're extremely motivated. They have a fantastic defense, talent around. They have draft picks star-studded all around their defense. So I think it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Between the transfer portal and injuries, the Ducks have a dozen players out for Friday's game, including running back Jordan Davison, the Ducks' leader in rushing touchdowns.
Just keep rolling, man. It's been a little bit of the story of our offense this year with some injuries, but like I said earlier, it's part of football. I mean, those injuries are going to happen. It's a violent sport. You got to adapt and overcome, and our guys are ready to go.
Both head coaches are scheduled to hit the podium at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time today. And then it is on to Friday's Peach Bowl. Make sure to follow us on air and online for all the latest on your Oregon Ducks coverage. Reporting from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Orlando Sanchez, KGW Sports.
And check out this little matchup between the Ducks and the Hoosiers. They're sparking a friendly wager between the Secretaries of State for Oregon and Indiana. So here's what Tobias Reed and Diego Morales have worked out. If the Ducks win, Morales has to send Reed Indiana's official state snack, their quote, iconic popcorn. And if the Hoosiers come out on top, Reed will send Morales some of Oregon's hazelnuts. Neil Diamond fans, listen up. This week is your chance to catch the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer's story live on stage. Broadway in Portland presents A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical, this week at the Keller Auditorium. We got a chance to speak with some of the cast members about their excitement for this production.
Because he's such a prolific songwriter, and he's put his whole life into those lyrics, and we get to really see our own life through his.
The show runs today through Sunday with sales from this afternoon's matinee supporting Dance for PD Oregon and Parkinson's Resources of Oregon. Tickets are available at portland.broadway.com. Coming up at 8 o'clock, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with an entrepreneur having her business stolen right out from under her. Now she's asking for your help in getting her dream back.